This is Lesson 1-10, Addition and Subtraction Expressions. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to write word expressions as numerical expressions and vice versa, as well as write word expressions as algebraic expressions and vice versa. Next, we'll take a look at some vocabulary for this lesson. You will need to keep a vocabulary notebook for all of the new math vocabulary words that you'll learn during this year. Our first vocabulary word is numerical expression. That's a mathematical phrase that only has numbers and operation symbols. Here are some examples. 60.75 minus 4, 1/2 plus 1/4, 3 squared plus 8. You can see each of these examples only have digits and numbers in their equations. The next vocabulary word is variable. That's a symbol used to represent an unknown quantity. And the last word for today is algebraic expression. That's an expression that contains a variable. Right here we can see an example of 20 minus a, x plus 5.2, z plus 10 minus w. So note, a letter can be used as a variable. Let's take a look at this story problem. Andy works 4.5 hours on Thursdays and 5.25 hours on Fridays. To represent the total hours she works on Thursdays and Fridays, Andy writes a numerical expression, 4.5 plus 5.25. You can see in this expression there are only numbers, no variables. That's what makes it a numerical expression. Suppose Andy decides to work on Saturdays as well, but does not know how many hours she will work. She could use a variable to represent the unknown number of hours worked on Saturdays. To represent the total hours worked on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, Andy writes an algebraic expression which looks like this. 4.5 plus 5.25 plus x. X is our variable, which makes this an algebraic expression because it includes a variable. Here are some examples of different word phrases and expressions. You can take a look at these. They're also found on page 52 in your textbook. They show differences between word phrases and expressions. Some of the expressions, number 1, this 1.2 plus 2, that would be a numerical expression. N plus 7 is an algebraic expression because of this n right here. 5 plus 20 would be an example of a numerical expression. So feel free to study over these examples, and if you need to re-watch any of the lesson, go ahead and do that and pause it as needed.